So, listen, we're in the club today and we are now talking about how to quit 9 to 5 and start a business. We actually have had these rooms on several occasions, and we have amazing guests that come up to the stage and talk to us about their 9 to 5 and what is happening in their lives with regards to why they want to leave. We always talk about the why, right? Because that is where it starts in the mind. Why do you want to make the decision to leave your 9 to 5? And I can be honest to say that, looking at the millions of people who are still looking to leave their 9 to 5s and the businesses who are also just, letting people go left and right, I think that we have to have the conversation, okay, about really being able to take the right steps, to be intentional about our vision, our goals, and why it's important that we actually get clarity around making the decisions that we need to make in our life. And one thing that myself and Ariana were talking about earlier, if you've never met us before, please make sure that you follow us in this space. We do amazing rooms and we want you to be a part of it. Every single one of you in this space. We want you to make sure that you are coming into the clubhouse hallways, or as we call it, the clubhouse streets, and that your hallways are showing you the right rooms where you can network with other like-minded professionals, rooms where you can meet other people to help you level up in your business. And if you never heard Ariana speak before, you definitely want to stick around because she is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and encourage you to also share this room to the hallway. Tell your friends about our conversation today, because one thing that we said, and this is going to blow your mind, y'all, listen to this. We were talking earlier, and one of the things that came out of the conversation was, do you think that you're worth more than your 9 to 5? Or no, that's not how it went. It said, you don't think you're worth more than your 9 to 5, right? Ari, was that how it you
That's
don't
it. That's
think
it.
you don't think you're worth more than your 9 to 5. And here's the thing, it came out of a very place of love. Okay, we want to just say that here, because when we curate these rooms, we talk from a place of love and understanding, because we both left our 9 to 5s and we know what it feels like to be in that place of longing to want to start a business, to want to work full time in your business, and to really do the thing that you love. And so we know exactly where you are. And for those of you in the room that are listening, I want to see who in here actually is still at their 9 to 5. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you are still at your 9 to 5. Put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many people in the room are in a 9 to 5 space. And the reason why I ask that is because here's the thing. There is a mentality when we are in a 9 to 5 where we know that going to work, we have a schedule, we have, duties, all these things are set up for us. But we also know that there is something that shifts when you go into entrepreneurship, where your mind goes into a place where you're not no longer being told what to do. But now you are the person that decides every single day what needs to be done. You're the person that makes your schedule. You're the person that manages your time, your money. And that can really, really scare some people because you're like, wait a minute, everything falls on me. And so I want to encourage you to, number one, know that you can do it, right? Everyone has a capacity to do whatever they desire. And if your desire is to start a business and do it full time, then we're going to give you the tools in this space, in this room, so that you can do that. And Ariana, I'm going to let her introduce herself before we get started so that you can see her genius, because I even get on calls with Ari, just like today. And I'm like, help me understand this, okay? Help me wrap my mind around what just happened. And Ariana will get me clear on exactly what it is I need to see. And so I want you to all be connected to her. And to also, if you are in any place in your life where you feel like you need to break through the barriers or the chains that are holding you back, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your 9 to 5 job, and you feel stuck, Ariana is the number one person I would say go to, because she's really going to get you unstuck in those areas. But Ari, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. And we're going to start this conversation about, you don't think you're worth more than your 9 to 5. Y'all got to stick around for this. Ari, the mic is all yours.
Thank you so much, sis. I'm excited to be in this space today. Yes, excuse me. This weekend was nice and long, so my voice is kind of in and out. But I want to say this: like, if you're, we had you said drop a one in the chat if you're still at your 9 to 5. I want to say drop a two if you're a full time business owner, and then yeah, drop a two if you're full time in your business. We have quite a bit of people in here, but not a lot of responses. So are you either in your 9 to 5, or you are a full-time business owner? And if you do both, right, drop a number three in the chat. If you do both, drop a number three in the chat. Let's really get some good polls out here. So my name is Coach Ari. I am a clarity coach and strategist, and I help people just like you who are in their 9 to 5 looking to build their way out. I help you clarify your vision, map out your goals, and then strategize the plan on how to actually make your vision come to pass to leave that 9 to 5 so that you can live that uncapped income and uncapped life and build the life you truly desire. I fired my job a year ago now. I have been an entrepreneur for 7 years now, in different avenues, but I finally found my purpose in what I do. And now I do this, which is clarity coaching and helping people really, really get clear so they can have a strategy and unlock your mentality around making the shift you need to go to your next level. I'm excited to have this conversation of, do you really believe you're worth more than your 9 to 5? Or don't you believe you're worth more than your 9 to 5? It's an interesting conversation, and we have a lot of expertise in this area. So I'm excited to start this conversation. So, Allegra, I pass it back to you.
Man, thank you so much, Ariana. And for those of you who heard that question, I want to check the chat real quick. Number one, I see that we have some people, most people in here looks like that are just still in their 9 to 5, and most people are listening. But I want to know, here the answer to that question. Do you think you're worth more than your 9 to 5? And when I ask that question, we're talking about, the 9 to 5 job where we really know that we're limited to only what they're willing to pay us. That's just the bottom line, right? We're only going to be paid whatever they deem we're worth, and they're going to give us whatever dues or tasks they feel is deemed necessary. So look at how much that is a year, right? And before we were talking about like $45,000 annually average for most people. And with inflation and recession and all these things going up, and looking at this glass ceiling at your 9 to 5 job, is that all you're worth? Or do you feel like you're worth more? And if you feel like you're worth more, I want you to put a one in the chat. If you feel like you're worth more than that, what you're making at your 9 to 5 job right now, I want you to put a one in the chat. Because a lot of times, we can just talk about money, and it's not just about money. We're talking about the value that you give this employer that is using your gifts, your hard work. And I think we were talking about that earlier as well. Is like all the genius that you pour into this position that you have, which your employer is essentially making money off of, right? They're utilizing all of your genius and all of your learned skills, and they're saying, hey, can you do this job, and can you do it well? And you go to work and you do it every day, and you consistently do it, and you meet deadlines. And I know people that I've spoken to that, Ariana, I'm telling you, they are a stickler for being to work on time every single day. They don't leave early, they stick around, get the job done. They will work hard for that job. But when it comes down to your own dreams and your own desires, here's the thing: the impact that you make in a 9 to 5 space is limited to the space that you're in. Now, here's a lot of times people do things like external community service and a lot of other things that make them more valuable in their lives to other people. But what I want to think about here is, if you have a dream or a vision to start a business, right? And you're in your 9 to 5, which we were talking about last time, people are like quietly quitting their job now. We have to think about, what does that look like for you down the line? We talked about recession, we talked about the inflation, we talked about how the market has been moving since the pandemic. There is nothing going back to normal. There is nothing that's going to say, hey, we're finally back to the way we were. It is not going to be like that. We are in a whole new turn of the world. I was just talking to Ariana saying that how are we going to feel as people working towards being, financially free and being independent and running our own businesses? If you put, I think it was a one in the chat for the being in a 9 to 5. Are you working diligently towards having a sustainable business sometime in the next 6 months to a year? And if you are working diligently, then what does that look like, right? And I think we were talking about this when it came down to being intentional about action steps. Ariana, you did a good example of this in the room, and I use Ari as an example because, listen, we teach you all from our own experiences. We do not take it lightly that we're going through challenges that have gotten us to this point where we can teach you out of experiences because we've done it, we've learned it, and we can tell you, don't go down that route. Like, it's nowhere, there's nothing there for you. Let's go this way, and it's going to get you to your goals. And so we're able to just guide you. And Ari left her job, her 9 to 5 space last year, and she created an entire strategy around that. And I know that Ari I can I testify to her hard work, because while she was in her 9 to 5, y'all, I was sitting in the audience just like you all, and I was listening to her do morning motivations every single morning at, I think it was 6:15 her time in the morning, before she went to work, or before she worked out at the gym and then went to work. And that is dedication. That is hard work. And when we talk about, are you worth more than your 9 to 5, I'm sure that a lot of you all are saying, yes, of course I'm worth more than my 9 to 5. Absolutely. Right. Because at the end of the day, you're just as important as that person that built their dream that you are working at, that you are sitting at, and making them money every single day. And there's no shame in any of this, because we all have to work a 9 to 5. It's just when you have the power and the control to make sure that you take the action steps to get to where you want to go, what are you actually doing? And the reason why we're having this conversation today is because as we work with people who are really getting out of their own way, as we say, because that's essentially what it is for us. We all kind of take our time getting to our goals, because a lot of it is maybe fear of what is going to happen if we actually succeed, or fear of what if we actually fail, what's going to happen, right? The unknown. So it's the fear, it's the doubt in ourselves, the doubt in our ability to actually do it. It's a lot of those things, and I know Ariana's going to speak on that because that's her wheelhouse. But we have to be bold enough to take action steps, and to not be in this space of doubt, fear, and just unwillingness to make the decision to get the right help that we need. One of the main things that I love about when we started this room, how to quit your 9 to 5 and start a business, is that we taught from a foundational aspect to say, who are you looking up to, and how are they helping you get to your goals? Where is your mentor? Where is your coach? Where is your consultant? Who is guiding you? Because if you are trying to figure things out in this time that we're in, right? There's so many things changing all the time. I was looking in the market, and I also talked to Ariana a lot about how I'm always investigating, how I'm always researching, and how I'm always doing case studies around things that people are doing. And even what I'm noticing around our mentality around leaving a 9 to 5 is that we're still in that same old mindset of the pre-pandemic, of the, well, I'll just wait a little while and I'll just learn some more stuff before I make a move. Let me get all I need to get, maybe make it perfect before I actually take this next step. And they're all excuses. These are all things that we say to ourselves to procrastinate the possibility of actually being great. These are things that we say to ourselves because honestly, we may not even believe that we are worthy enough to be the people in charge of that amazing vision that you have. Which, if you have a vision, if you see yourself like I saw myself years ago, standing on a stage teaching people, on a live stage with hundreds of people sitting in front of me, watching me. I had that vision, but it wasn't like I felt like I could stand up on a stage right then and there. That was like literally I would die. But I knew that if I worked diligently enough, if I got the right help, if I had someone help me speak well. So I went to Toastmasters. I got a coach, like a speaking coach. I started to work on my business. I've always had a consultant to help me align myself with my brand. There are always going to be times where you're going to need direction. And so that's why, when you think about where you're going in the next 6 months to a year, I want to start that conversation here with you are worth more than your 9 to 5. So I want you to think about, what does that look like? What does your worth more look like? What is your vision laid out in front of you? What does that actually look like for you? In 6 months to a year, will you still be the same person calling me saying, you know, I still don't know what I want to do? Or are you going to be the person to take action steps? And I haven't even mentioned the amazing combination that me and Ariana have done when it comes to getting your mind free and getting your business ready to go and blast off. We talk about taking action steps, and a lot of times when people come back to me and they say, you know what, I still don't have an idea, it's because they didn't take the action steps. It's because they didn't believe that they were actually going to be able to do it. So if you really want to get to a place of, you know what, I don't want to be stuck here a year from now in these same rooms having the same conversation. I want to be the one that's sitting on the stages with Allegra and Ariana. I want to be the one that's sitting on lives and platforms and podcasts. And I want to be talking to the right people to get my idea and my brand and my business out there so that people can support me. That's what this conversation is about. Ari, I'm going to pass it over to you because I want to hear what you have to say about this on the mindset side, but I'll pass it over to you, sis.
Yeah, so many things came up for me when you were speaking. And one thing in particular is a question I want, or something I want to post to everybody. If you feel like you are worth more than your 9 to 5, then are you working like you're worth more, right? One thing about building your way out of your 9 to 5, if you truly believe you're worth more, then you'll work harder in the thing that you know is going to bring you what you feel you're really worth. And that was the thing that I kept in my mind while I was working myself off my 9 to 5. I knew that this job could not pay me enough to buy my time. And I knew I was worth more. And so one thing that people forget is that just leaving your job haphazardly is not the strategy. I had a strategy that I was working, and I worked it like it was a 9 to 5, because if you work your business like a 9 to 5, it'll pay you like a 9 to 5. That was one piece of information that my mentor gave me. She said, if you work it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. And I never forgot that. But stop, you have to ask yourself, if you're at your 9 to 5 and you say you want to start a business and you know you have a business and you have this thing, why are you not working it like you should so that you actually get to the results that you desire? And most of the time, and I'm not speaking just from me, I'm speaking from even coaching people I worked with, they didn't really believe that they were worth more than what they were getting. And here's the difference, right? Belief produces action, and words are just words. Your words mean nothing if you don't have action behind it. So sometimes what we do is we try to speak a lot of things with no action, and that's why you don't see anything producing. But when you really believe what you say, the action precedes it. So you don't have to sit at a job for 3, 4, 5 years before you launch your business. You don't have to sit at a job for 3, 4, 5 years before your business is actually making $10,000, $1,000, 20,000, 30,000, because the belief triggers your action. Right? It triggers you to move in such a way because I believe what I'm building. And so when we ask a question, are you worth more than your 9 to 5? You can answer that question honestly. You're probably not going to tell it's us, but the only way you can answer it honestly is that you would sit and really look at the action, the fruit that you've produced. A lot of people think I have to leave my job before I can start the business. No, you don't. I started the business before I got the job. I had a point in my life where I just had to get the job, because here's one thing that me and Alec was talking about. A lot of people don't realize the first 6 months to a year in building your business is building you. It really is teaching you who you are. You're really getting in touch with who you are. Then you're working to figure out, how do I get in touch with the audience, and how do I fix my messaging, and then how do I hear me, test my product to see if it's sellable, to see if I'm targeting the right people. Are the people I think in my mind really my target? The first 6 months to a year, you're doing a lot of beta testing. And I know this world would like to make us think you can go viral and make millions, but people who really have that story, they've been working for years. And so when you tell, in your mind, when you have this mentality of, oh, I'll start once I leave the job, wrong answer. I'll start in 6 months because I have more time, wrong answer. The best thing you can do is start now and get with somebody who can help you strategize a way to build your way out. Because that first, and I was saying to say, even you can go a little bit to a year and a half, year and a half, because you may put your messaging out there and it may work for a little bit, but then you realize, oh, that's not really my target market. I got to switch. There's so many things that happen in starting a business that if you sit at your job and wait to start, you're doing yourself a disservice. And so, like I said, I had the business started before I got the job. When I got the job, I already knew they couldn't afford me. Okay. I already knew this is not the life for me. Always remember that. Never lose yourself in a position. I don't care how good the money is. I don't care how many raises. Let me tell you, when I was leaving out the door, they were about to offer me a promotion and a raise. It still was not worth who God created me to be. I knew I had a bigger assignment. Never lose yourself in a paycheck. See, I believe in living an untapped income type of life, which means I want to dictate how much money I make. I don't want you to cap my income. And I'm not knocking anybody, because I'll have to hire people and things like that. But it's my desire to hire people that want to grow, grow, grow. And when you feel like you need to leave, I want to let you go and do that, because I desire to live that uncapped income type of a lifestyle. A lifestyle that was, I get to set my bar, right? So when I got there, I never lost myself. To be honest with y'all, I was doing exactly what I do now in my job. And when I left, right? When I left, people are so weird. When I left my job, right? About 5 people left after me, and I had been talking to them. I had been pouring into them. I had been, helping them get clarity and things like that. And they didn't necessarily leave to start a business, but they did go somewhere where they felt more valued and they were getting paid their worth. They did go somewhere where they felt like their skills and what they have been piling up and stocking up and learning was more appreciated. And so all I'm saying is, if you know that you're worth more, why aren't you getting more? What's holding you back from building that business, from building something that you can have control over and you can dictate, not something that they can pull out from underneath you, right? This is how to extra 9 to 5 and start a business. So I'm talking to those who say, this 9 to 5 life is not for me. Now, what are you gonna do next? Because the interesting thing that me and Allegra was talking about is that COVID came through, right? And a lot of people lost their jobs. Willingly, unwillingly, a lot of people got laid off. Now we're going into recession, which layoffs happen again. So we're getting a double whammy, which means there is no job security. It's not a real thing. It's something that they tell us to make us feel good about it. But you can create your own security if you do it strategically, and if you mentally, here's the key, y'all. You have to have a mental shift. You have to shift from, I'm just here to get a paycheck, to an uncapped mentality of, if I work it, it'll work for me. That's just the law of that God put in place. If you work the ground is going to yield something for you. This is a principle that cannot be broken. Give and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together. A man who don't work, don't eat. So whether you're working for someone or working your business, the principle will always work for you. I think where people make the mistake in business when they leave their 9 to 5, or they're in their 9 to 5 and working their business, they make the mistake in thinking that building a business means that you can back off from building. That's not what that means. So if you feel like you're worth more, I want you to start working like you're worth more. I want you to start producing like you're worth more. I want you to start taking action like you're worth more. It takes more action to run a business than it does to just wake up and go clock somebody's clock. That's the truth. I was at my 9 to 5, y'all, and I literally had a schedule from 8 to 5. I worked my 9 to 5, but in that 8 to 5, I had a schedule of when I was working my business. Now, some people may not agree with that. Hey, I understand. That's no problem. But I had to have a strategy because I was trying to build my way out. That was not my destiny. So, if you feel like you're worth more, are you working like you're worth more? And I'm gonna pass it back to you, Allegra.
Mm, mm, mm. Listen, I don't know if y'all felt that, but if you felt like she was talking to you, like I felt like she would have been talking to me, honey, Ariana, the gems you just dropped about, are you working it like your 9 to 5? It's just so important. I think when we really reflect on what it is that we are actually doing and being responsible for, um, I wanted to talk about what we said earlier as well, because this kind of came up for me while you were speaking. Is, are we disciplined enough? Are we disciplined enough to really take the steps that we need to take? And I think it's so important because here's the thing: anytime that you feel like you are limiting your worth or devaluing yourself at the job that you're at, because we also know that it's not safe. Job safety is out the window, like Ariana said. Let's talk about numbers. One of the things that I was talking to a friend of mine who is very well connected to me. So she's watched me grow my business over the last, what I want to say, 10 years now. And she's been so wise, okay? You connected to the right people. She's been so wise to follow a lot of the advice that I've talked about, and she's listened in a lot of my lives. And so one of the main things that she did was she literally quit her job about over a month ago, and now she is accumulating business credit, right? And she like literally all she did was download my business planning blueprint. She asked me a couple questions about, well, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? And she started to build on her business because she understood. She was literally a dean at a private charity school, a private school, not charity, but what is it? A private, I can't remember what kind of school it is, but it's one of those private schools, very, very high up there.
A charter
And
school?
yeah, thank you, a charter school, very well known. So she was a dean there and she was doing really well, but she did not feel like they valued her. She felt like they were just kind of over, looking her suggestions. They didn't really appreciate her going above and beyond like she did. Like, it was just so many things that she would tell me all the time. And finally, she just said, you know what? I just made a decision. I just left. And people are doing that every single month, all the time now. People are just leaving their jobs left and right. And I think it's because we're in a culture where we've learned from the pandemic that we no longer have to be uncomfortable in places that we don't want to work in. And so, we start with that conversation as to, why do you want to start a business, right? Because you could just go get another job. That's the real truth about it. But if you know your why and you're just like, no, I have a greater vision than just working for someone else. I have a bigger, why behind what I want to do with, making generational wealth for myself, whatever it is. If you've identified that, then we start to look at the action steps that we talked about, and then where's the discipline behind that? And when I talk about discipline, like when I use my friend as example, I was talking to her about how much money she made immediately out the door, leaving her 9 to 5, because she had already taken the steps to write down her plan of action. She knew exactly where she was going to get her money from. She leveraged her personal credit. She went and got her EIN. She on this site that I listed on the business planning blueprint. And she went and got several business credit cards. And it was so important for her to leverage that, because here's the thing. If you understand something about business, and this is something that we don't really know off the hand because we talk about money and how that works. If you are taking leaps of faith on yourself, on your ability to produce wealth, revenue, just like your employer does every single day, that's how you get paid, okay? You have the ability to not have a cap. There is an opportunity for you to not only generate however much money you want, however way you want to, because there's so many ways to make money, but you also have time. You have time to decide on, how you want to organize your day. Some people like to work at night, some people like to work early in the morning. You get to decide that for yourself. That's the pleasure of being able to, create the vision you want for yourself, the life you want for yourself. But where does the discipline come into play? And here's what I want to say about that. The discipline comes into play when you start to actually, number one, be honest with yourself. Be honest with, like, what is it that I'm actually doing and why am I actually doing it? Every single day that you look at your time that you're spending, doing your everyday activities, are you fitting the action steps in there to start to build your business up to that level of success? I was actually speaking to someone earlier who is also here on Clubhouse, and they do a room on Clubhouse. And ask Ariana, one of the main things I say is, if you're doing a room here, if you're spending your time here, if you're showing up here every single day, why are you doing it? Right? And she responded and she was just like, well, I don't really know the goal yet, but I do know that I'm taking action steps. And I was like, whoa. I was like, wait a minute. So you don't actually have a goal, but you're taking action steps. But towards what? And that is how we have to really be intentional about what we're doing. I wanted to kind of put that in here because even when it comes down to the stuff that we're doing every single day, we can be busy doing absolutely nothing. And what we talk about, especially in, some of the things that Ariana and I do together, we talk strategically about focusing on what is yours to do and really aligning yourself with those proper steps of how to do it, and not just, okay, let me try this, and let me try that, and let me try this, right? We actually tell you and teach you how to get from point A to point Z, but we know that first and foremost, before you take any action steps into what you're doing, you have to have a goal. And your goal has to be smart. It has to actually align with specific and measurable and attainable and realistic and timely fashions. You have to be able to look at your goals and say, you know what, is this something that I can accomplish? Is it really, can I do that in that time frame? Do I have the right resources to do that? And then you start to take the action steps you need. And so that's why I love, Ariana, I got to say this, because I love when we do these rooms, because we really actually focus around why you're doing the thing you're doing. We pose the question of, first of all, we didn't even pose the question. We said, you don't think you're worth more than your 9 to 5. We made a statement, but realistically, it is a question. Do you actually think that you're worth more than your 9 to 5? And I believe the answer is yes for me. I believe the answer is yes for Ariana. I believe the answer is yes for each and every one of you. I think that we have been, sucked into a mentality, though, where we work, for a certain employer for an extended period of time, and then we retire and then we die. And I think that that is something that is culturally and age specific, because my mom and my dad, they do it so well, right? And they actually are looking forward to retirement. They're like, oh my God, I can't wait till I can just, get all the benefits that I've put into this job all of these years. And what we're saying is, you don't have to dedicate so much of yourself to someone else's dream. What we're saying is that you have a purpose, and all you need to do is get clarity to align with what that purpose is, which I know that Ariana does well. And also, you have to write down the vision and make it plain. Get in alignment with what it is that you have to do step by step, and having a goal that is absolutely foreseeable. something that does not keep you, stagnant, but something that motivates you every single day, because you're thinking, okay, I got a goal to meet. All I got to do is do these steps every day, and I'm going to get to that goal. I'm going to get to that goal. And it keeps you going, it keeps you consistent. And a lot of times we do not have the resources. We're walking around listening to everyone tell us what to do, and then we're confused about what to do. And so, what we're providing is absolute specific resources that are going to get you focused. And these are not things that are new, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay. What we provide in these spaces, especially with Ariana, she created a entire mini course and a mental detox for you to really get clear on what it is that is going on with you. A lot of times we have to really think about how our minds work mentally. Sometimes we are getting in our own way because we don't even think about what is happening. So having, that resource, I love that, because even if you start the business, if you don't get clear on your ideas, if you don't get clear on why do I make these decisions? Why do I, stay in this position? Why have I worked at this job this long and I don't enjoy it? Why am I quietly quitting? Right? Like all these crazy things that I hear people are doing at their 9 to 5s, and just giving up on their own dreams, giving up on their own desires, and not pushing through to getting to that next level of success. I see it all the time. And I want you to all stop it. Just, know that there is greatness in you, and there's no one standing in your way but you, honestly. And we are here to just really give you the resources and the tools to help you just get in alignment with what is yours to do. And Ari, I want you to just speak a little bit more about the clarity part that you provide when it comes down to the mental detox, because I know that you all can see that business plans are important, because at the end of the day, we know that if you don't know what you're doing in your business, and you don't know how to get business credit, and you don't know how to, get an EIN number, all those things are in that business planning blueprint, and it just guides you. So that is important. But I want you to start with the mental detox first. That is the most important part, because if you don't get clear in your mind about how to, just figure out what it is that is actually going on first, identify the problem, become aware, then no matter what anyone puts in front of you, if, as far as the business is concerned, you won't do it. So, Ari, I'm going to pass it over to you so we can tone down the room, and then, yeah, I will start getting out of here. The mic is yours.
Yeah, I love that. For me, my mission in life is to get people, especially in business, to stop and identify all of the mindset blocks, all of the mental things that are really keeping them where they are, right? Um, I get a lot of this, and I know, like, I think you said you get it too, is where a lot of people say, I know what to do. Like, it's not that I don't know what to do. Like, I know what I need to do, but I'm just not doing it. If that is a conversation that you have had recently or ever before, that I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, your problem is not external, it's internal. And I love the fact that we partnered up, because a lot of business owners are struggling with mental internal battles, battles with self-worth, battles with doubt, battles with, can I really do this? Imposter syndrome, right? All these things that were really hot words, but people are really dealing with mental struggles that are holding you back from actually being successful, from actually prospering, from actually giving the world your genius and your gifts and your talents. And so for me, when I created this mental detox, number one, it was what I did to get myself out of depression. That's number one. I had to get my strategy. I remember the guy told me this. God, not a guy. There's a strategy for everything you want in life. You just have to figure out what the strategy is. And so what I started to do, I'm sorry, I'm getting the red bar. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So what I had to do was build a strategy. But what I understood was, it what I couldn't do anything anything until I unlocked my mentality, until I removed the mental blocks, until I deal with the fear and the self doubt and the insecurities. And so we're now in a day and age where booming business is booming and entrepreneurs are coming up left and right. But I'm going to tell you something. If you really watch people's businesses, you start to see them fall off. They fall off social media because they say, oh, it was too much, it was overwhelming. They fall off Clubhouse because they're like, oh, I got lost and I didn't really have a purpose and da 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 da, because mentally you weren't prepared for business. Because listen, everybody who started a business, who's been seen any type of success, will tell you you got to keep yourself from going down the rabbit hole of comparison. You got to keep yourself from wanting to switch from this to that, from that to this, just because it looks like that's going good and that's going good. So let me jump over here. Let me go over here. You have to be able to stay the course. You got to be able to see one thing all the way through. You have to follow through. And so the mental detox takes you through just getting you together. It also helps you figure out, am I surrounded around the right people? How are you going to be great surrounded around people who don't believe in your greatness and they don't desire greatness for themselves? You can't go nowhere with those type of people. And when we learn that it is okay to part ways for a season or for a lifetime, that it is okay to decide to grow beyond where you've been. It is okay to decide that you want better for your life. And so I can't hang out here anymore. I can't be connected to this anymore. I can't have these types of conversations anymore because I desire better for my life. I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to build a legacy. I'm trying to leave this 9 to 5 job. I don't want to be here forever. I want to do something different. I want to be the first in my family. When you start having those types of conversations, you have to make sure the people around you can handle it and they're having the same conversations with you. You know why? Because if not, they're planting seeds that are going to kill your dream, your goals, and your destiny. Anybody in here know what I'm talking about? When you surround yourself around the wrong people, they kill your dreams. They kill your desire to win. They demotivate you. They make you question yourself. They make you start doubting your capabilities. So in the workbook, the second phase is relationships, because I want you to be able to identify what relationships need to go and what type of relationships do you need to add to your life. The next phase is habits. And everything that you see right now in your life, the life you're living right now, is the outcome of your habits that you carry out every single day. If you don't change your habits from how 9 to 5, going, clocking somebody's clock, somebody giving you the work to do, they tell you everything to do. If you don't change your habits, you're going to continue to produce the same things in your life. So if you don't like the way your life looks right now, then you need to change your habits, because your habits produce your reality. And the last thing is confidence. And so circling back to the beginning of the room, do you feel like you're worth more than your 9 to 5? That is a confidence piece that if you don't develop it now, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur will take you out, because there's a level of confidence you have to have in who you are and what you're building that cannot be shook by lack of support, by lack of payment, by somebody didn't like what I said and they tapped out of my room and blah, 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 blah. You have to have the confidence to stand on what you believe in and the product or business and service that you created. And that confidence is not from a cheerleading squad. It's from your belief about who you are and what you're doing. So there's 4 phases to this mental detox, because all of them help you make up the total you. Your mind, your relationships, the environment who you surround yourself around, your habits, and your confidence. If you can get those 4 things in alignment, tapping into this business planning blueprint and executing won't be a problem for you. You guys want to know the reason why people don't execute? They don't believe in themselves. You do not execute right now in your life, right now today. The reason why you're not executing is because you don't believe in you. When you believe in you and your capabilities, when you start to work this 21 days, this mental detox, when you really buy into who you are, you will not have a problem executing, because you'll feel unstoppable. Fear disappears. Failure goes out the window. I don't have room to fail. When I left my job, that was me leaving my job. I was done. 9 to 5 not going to see me no more. So I don't have room to fail. I have to stand up here and speak to you guys with as much conviction as I have in my soul, because I don't have room for anything else. I don't have room for doubt. I don't have room for insecurity. And every time, at any time that I've let insecurity or doubt seep in, I stop taking action. Because you know what you do? You start thinking about it. You start thinking about all the things that could go wrong. You start thinking about all the things that may not work. You start thinking about your financial situation. That's what happens when you don't have the confidence and belief in yourself. And so before you know it, you're not doing anything. You're stagnant. Now you're at that job for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 20 years. Still talking about how, I'm going to get off this job. I really want to start a business. You know what? I'm sick of being here. They don't pay me enough. They don't appreciate me. You still having that same conversation because you don't believe in you. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. When you don't believe in you, nobody else does. So don't get mad at the job because they don't appreciate you. They are appreciating you at the level that you appreciate yourself. That's why they treat you the way they do. That's why they pay you what they pay you. That's why they keep you where they keep you, because they're just appreciating you at the level that you appreciate yourself. If you demand more from yourself, people will have to appreciate you at that level. When I got ready to leave my job, I walked in there on a Monday. I said, today's my last day. And my manager, she said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I've been building my business. They have my workbooks and things like that. I said, so I'm going full time. God called me to do this full time. So I'm going full time. And I said, and I'm leaving Friday. And she said, well, why can't you give me a 2 weeks notice? I said, because I don't have to. Friday's my last day. Because I got to be about my Father's business. I got to walk on my faith and my purpose and my destiny. And I got to do what I've been called to do. Because there's other people out there who needs a breakthrough in their mindset. They need a breakthrough in their life. They need somebody to come to them and tell them, you can uncap your mentality today. You can go further than what you've been told and how you've been raised. You can do more than sitting at this job if that's what you so desire. And I don't have 2 weeks to wait. I got to go now. So I give you to Friday because I at least want to make sure I got everything in order before I leave. But that's all the time you get from me, because I value my time more than that. And I left because I had confidence, because I had worked my mentality, because I had been building while I was working. I had surrounded myself with people who told me, you can do it. You got it. Yo, you speak so amazing. The passion, the conviction, yo, you got to let people hear your voice. I worked on my habits. I stopped letting the alarm clock control me, and I controlled the alarm clock, because I heard that millionaires get up before the sun do because they need more hours in their day. And you know what I found out? I needed more hours in my day to execute the plan that God had for my life. But if you don't buy into what we're saying today, y'all, if you don't tap into what we're saying, if you don't get up and do something different, you will get the same result. You will stay at the 9 to 5 that you say that you feel you're worth more, and you'll do the same thing. And doing the same thing is insanity. It's time for you to do something different. You need to click that link. You need to get into our space. You need that program. Some of you may need me or Allegra as a coach, because you can't afford to be valued at $45,000 a year. You can't afford to be valued at $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year. When you can make $30,000 in a month, you can make $50,000 in a month. There are people out here living a life that we dream of, not because they're better than you or they have more than you. They just decided to take more action than you did. And I, for one, refuse to let them out action me. And y'all should make that same decision today. Don't let nobody else out action you. You deserve to make just as much, if not more money than they're making. But you got to take the next step, and you got to take action. And that's what I got, and I release it.
Listen, can someone drop the bomb, okay? Like Ariana, I was in the chat and everybody's just going in. What you said was so powerful, and I can't even I can't even dissect all of the goodness in there. All I can say is I know that I felt it, and I know y'all felt it too. Definitely, especially when you said, I will not let my alarm clock control me. Honey, I remember so many mornings just waking up and saying, do I really have to do this? Am I really, going to wake up? But here's the thing. When you really are in alignment with, hey, listen, I will no longer go back to that 9 to 5, whatever that is, and you really make a decision and you're determined, you will not let that alarm clock go off too long. You will jump up and start doing the work. And I mean, it's just so many great things that Ari said. Listen, we're going to go ahead and end this room soon. And we didn't get a chance to pull anyone up here. But I did see a comment in the chat, and I just want to give acknowledgement to it because I saw all the love, and Ari was just throwing so much fire down, raining fire down. I was like, oh my God. I saw that Cynthia was talking a little bit here in the chat, and I wanted to just say, you know, when we're talking about business, and she made a good point. She said, they just want shifts covered, slots filled. She was talking about, she feels like, she's tucking and stashing, quote unquote, for her business. I want to give light to that before we end the room, because here's the thing. Business and money, that, when we talk about it, we're not just talking about things. We're talking about a mindset. And I said this to Ariana earlier. I said, it's funny because when I made my first six figures, I was like, ooh, I'm about to have money, more money than I ever have. I'm so excited, right? When I got to my first six figures, it was like I never made it because it went so fast. And so we always say it's not around the money, it's around the mentality around it. And when I'm, looking at the, the whole idea of like, oh, I'm going to tuck and stash for my business. Well, what are you tucking and stashing for? You should be, spending it or investing it rather in your business. Tucking and stashing, that's not what we do in business. We just invest. We invest in our experience in getting education. We invest in our resources for the business. We invest in the business itself. We invest in coaching, consulting. We invest. Tucking and stashing is a mentality that I think we learn because, essentially saving, right? We say, oh, we got to save this amount of money before we actually do this. And in business, what I've learned is that with my first $100, I went, in the state of Georgia and opened up my first business, right, with $100. So it doesn't take a lot to just start. It doesn't take a lot to start. And a lot of times, what we're doing is we tend to try and hold on to money, and then we end up spending it anyway. So at the end of the day, I would not suggest that. I really don't. I want to just bring light to that because I know that even how she was expressing about how the job was just, she felt like she didn't want to get stuck and in their grip and just didn't want to feel like a number. And I think sometimes we end up doing that. We end up being in spaces where we do, feel like we're kind of stuck, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be. This is the very same reason why we do these rooms. This is the reason why we show up in this space. You heard how Ariana was just raining down fire on y'all. Every single person in this room, if you are in your 9 to 5 and you're ready to get out of it and you're ready to get mentally free, I'm sure that you have clicked that link above our heads, because that means that you are taking the step to make sure that you don't feel stuck, to make sure that you're taking control over your opportunities, because that's really what it's all about. And I like the fact that she was open and honest in this chat, because if we're all being open and honest about how we feel, a lot of times that is exactly how we feel. She said she quietly quit herself. A lot of times we really do feel stuck. We feel like we're just a number at our job and that they don't appreciate us. And so being honest with ourselves and being able to say, you know what? I don't want to be here. I don't like how I feel. I don't like the way that the direction that my life is going, and I want to change that. That's why I love about what Ariana says here on stage and what she offers in her mental detox course, because if you can really get in alignment with what is for you and feel fulfilled every single day that you get up, every single day that you turn that alarm clock off, because you feel like, okay, I'm not just going to work. I'm getting up with a purpose and a desire to do what I want to do. And I'm clear on what that is. And I'm planning out my business to make sure that I can structure it the way that I want to structure it. That is something to feel good about every single day. And do that now while you are at your 9 to 5. Don't quietly quit and feel stuck. And this is what we were talking about in the last room, right? Don't quietly quit. Don't feel stuck. Don't let them take control over your life, right? And just use you as a number. Take control over it. Have that in your back pocket to know that, just like Ariana was saying, they were ready to offer her a raise and she still walked out the door, right? My situation was different, right? They overworked me, underpaid me, and I was like, yeah, that's enough. I've had enough and you've gotten enough, so let's just part ways. But we both left because we had running businesses that we were already working on. We had already had a plan. We already knew that if that day came, then we had worked on our business enough that we could walk out that door and say bye and not turn around and worry about a thing. Our bills were paid. We were able to make money no matter what. But most importantly, we were able to fulfill our purpose, get to our goals, and create the schedule we want. Have time freedom. As a matter of fact, my employer did me a favor. I'm sure Ariana feels the same way. So be the same way in your life. Take control. Make sure you start planning towards that success. I want to mention one last thing because Ariana is always gracious enough to give y'all discounts and codes, and I actually put it up further in the chat. I'm going to put it down again, but we do have it where we are offering you in this room. If you go ahead and grab that download today, we will actually give you 50% off every time we come into a space, and we offer this combo code. If you put in the word combo, COMBO, it will actually give you 50% off this entire mini course and the workbooks that we included. So you want to take advantage of that now, before that discount goes away. And I just want to say also before we leave, because we've taken a lot of your time, is that we appreciate you. We love you, of course. But make sure you're following myself and Ariana, because she said a key thing is that some of you may need us as coaches. Some of you in the future may realize, you know what, I need to get out of my way. I need to go ahead and invest in myself, and I need to make sure that I'm working with someone who can get me to my goals quicker. I have a client that she, came on board and she was able to make $10,000 in less than 30 days. And she did not believe it initially, but she was willing to take that leap of faith. And she was willing to entrust that in me. And with proven results, I promise you that there are so many ways that you can make money in your business. It really is about, what are you willing to be uncomfortable with? How uncomfortable are you willing to be? How daring are you willing to be? How outlandish and how bold are you willing to be about your business? That is what it comes down to. Because the people who are willing to take the biggest leaps of faith and to do the things that most people will not do, we are the ones that make the most money. So you have to be able to take those leaps of faith. So when I say to you to go ahead and get this download, and we're giving you 50% off today, that's giving you access points. That's giving you a way to say, I'm going to take this leap of faith, I'm going to take this step, and I'm going to get into their genius. Because later on, as we've had many people reach out and say, oh my God, I can't wait to have your program, because myself and Ariana are going to be doing a program together. And if you want to be coached by us together, you're going to have to make an investment in yourself. You're going to have to make a commitment. And the first commitment you make to yourself is that digital download, so that you can get mentally ready. Because once you get into our program, look, let me tell you something. We're going to tear you down so good. The way that we coach, we make sure that we get you so right that you're going to feel good and bad at the same time, because there's some things that we have to get through, and it's going to feel difficult at first. But once we get through the mental blocks, once we're able to really get down to the nitty gritty about what it is that is going on, then we get you to your level of success. Because that's really what we do as coaches. And we know that deep down inside, you have the answers yourself, but our job is to pull it out of you. And so we want to make sure that we give you that access to us when your time is right. We haven't launched that program, but we're going to consider the people who downloaded our guides before we get in there. Anything you want to say before we leave, Ariana, and then we'll end the room?
I do want to touch on something really quick about the stash, like the money. I want to say this. So I do a money mentality room on Wednesdays, and it's all about having the mentality of a millionaire. How do we get the money mentality to be able to acquire the wealth that we desire? But always remember this. Millionaires don't become millionaires because they stack and save. They become millionaires because they invest. They make that $1 work for them. They make that $10 make $10,000. So the best way to increase your wealth, to increase your money, is to invest it so it makes more money. Money just sitting doesn't do anything. It has to be working for you. So just remember that. And I invite you guys to come to that room, because I talk about that money mentality, because a lot of the reasons why we don't find ourselves in the financial positions that we desire is because of our mentality around money. We were taught to save. We were talking about grandfather to this day. Like, he always has a conversation. You saving your money? And I'd be like, Papa, let me tell you something. But because I learned that the rich don't get rich by saving, they get rich by investing. Their money is constantly moving. You know why? Because money is a spirit, it's meant to flow. So always remember that when you're talking about wealth and you're talking about what to do with your money. I took the money that I was making from my job, I invested it back in myself. I was listening to somebody who's beyond a millionaire. They've been a millionaire multiple times, right? And they said, make the money work for you. Period. They said every penny you get from making money in your business after taking care of your expenses, put it right back in your business to make more money. They said do not save it. Pay your bills, cover your overhead, and invest it right back into your business. So I want you to think about that right now. A lot of you are your business. How are you investing in yourself? All right. So that's all I got to say. Join me in that room. Make sure you clicking that link up there, y'all, because it's not going to be for long. We're going to be switching in a minute because that program has to get out here. But y'all don't miss the first step to really getting mentally free and getting that business planning blueprint. Allegra, I pass it back to you.
Man, that was good, Ari. Listen, I call her the motivational preacher for a reason, y'all. So make sure y'all follow her. She'll get you right, take you to church every single time. You actually made me think of one thing that I just wanted to mention too, because it was really interesting how I had a person that I knew. I had a person. Well, I didn't have a person. There was a person I knew that started a business, and they. It was just really funny because they were afraid of making too much money. Does that make sense? It's really interesting because and this is something I want you all to think about. Um, I wasn't coaching this individual, but I was there along the ride of watching them leave their 9 to 5. And when they left their 9 to 5, they started a business, which made sense because they were already doing the work and they were very successful in their business, very successful. And they ended up making 6 figures in the first year, and they were doing better, even better in the second year. And they out of nowhere was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to go work for this guy that I met while I was doing my full-time business. And my question was, well, why would you do that? And this person was like, well, because I was kind of scared at the amount of money I was making, and I didn't know how to manage it. And when you were talking about money, I thought about that, Ariana, and I want you all to really join that. What is it? Is it a live or a masterclass, Ari?
Oh, it's on Clubhouse Wednesdays. The money mentality, unlocking your money mentality. They follow me, they should
Okay,
find it.
y'all have to be there. Make sure that you are coming into these rooms and RSVPing for the upcoming conversations that we have, because that's really important. And this was really sad to see, y'all. This person was really successful, doing a fabulous job, running a 6 figure company, easy. Basically, didn't have to do much. All they had to do was grow the company and get more staff members to help. But because of their mental blocks, because of the way that they felt about themselves, because of the lack of clarity around where they wanted to take their business, they stopped in the middle of their progression and closed the business, temporarily closed till this day, and missed out on multi, I mean, like so much money. I mean, it's just, I can't say in the millions, but I can say that, um, they would definitely have been, well over 6 figures, 7 figures, 7 figures probably. And I think that when we think about ourselves and how we have to work on our personal development, how we need to get things like the download that we put up above to start working on mental detoxing ourselves and getting the business plan in order. That's the most important part, because this individual did not have a business plan. They did not have a clear mind. They had a lot of things going on in their personal lives, and their biggest fears was the actual success that they were having in their business, and they sabotaged their own success. And it happens all the time. And that was just one example that I saw, and it was sad to see in person. But I just want to encourage you all that, we can be our own worst enemies. We can be the ones that stand in our own way. Even when it comes down to making money, that is the biggest avenue that I see people fall to the wayside. So I want you all to follow Ariana. I want you to get into that Wednesday room, and I want you to understand your concept of money, understand what that looks like in your mind. And we talk about wealth, because money is just a piece of wealth. It's not wealth itself. And I think that when you really start to wrap your mind around some of these things, you won't be like that guy. You won't be like that person that decided that six figures was scary, that decided that growing a business and being able to change multitudes of lives and easily do it, that he didn't have enough confidence in himself to carry that out. What a loss. I want you all to be great, and I don't want you to be a victim of your own circumstances that way either. So let's get your mind right. Let's get you back to business. And I hope you all got a chance to get that 50% off while we were here. And Ari, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Make sure that you all follow us both, be a part of our conversations in the future, and we will see you around these clubhouse streets. We love you all. Have a great night.